So hi everyone and welcome. This is my first online yin class and I'm looking to share it with you, so especially those of you who are my students who I'm seeing on a regular basis. It's a nice way for us to reconnect, and also for any of those maybe in Dublin, in the UK, further afield. It's lovely to be able to share with you for maybe the first time or the first time in a while. So we're going to get straight into it. Or to start with, actually, you might like to have a blanket. So any old blanket will do. And then I have a couple of blocks as well. And obviously you might not have blocks. You could get a couple of books or anything that maybe you can just nice and steady that you'll be able to rest onto. And then whenever you have those, we're going to come to lie down on our backs. So starting very nice and gently, come all the way down onto your back. And what I'm going to suggest here is to keep a bend in your knees, and we're going to let the feet be wide and the knees fall in together. So your feet are wide, knees falling in together, and then your hands could either come to rest onto your belly or just let them rest down by your sides. So wherever is most comfortable, you'd like this to be a position of little effort. And then just let your eyes close. And we're just going to take a few moments here, letting yourself settle. And maybe it's your first yoga class in a while, maybe not. But just letting yourself come back to center, to where you are right now. And just take a moment or two to notice your breath. We're not trying to change it at all, not worrying about it, but you're just aware of your inhale and aware of your exhale. If you like, you might bring your hands to rest on your belly, if they weren't already. And then as you inhale, you feel your belly gently rising up, pressing into your hands. And as you exhale, you feel it softening back down towards the earth again. Just staying there with awareness on your own breath. I'd like to introduce the concept today of, possibly not introducing it, it's one you already know, the concept of kindness. We're going to be kind to ourselves throughout this practice. There's the idea in yoga, it's a term called ahimsa, which translates as non-violence. And in yoga, we'll start with this non-violence towards ourselves, so kindness to yourself. And it could be, especially as a lot of us have a lot of time maybe by ourselves at the moment, and there's your inner critic, the inner voice inside you. And wouldn't it be nice if that voice could say kind things? So just for the duration of this class, perhaps, we'll see what it would be like if we talk kindly to ourselves. And just to see how that would feel. So we'll just take a couple more breaths here. And breathing in, I calm my body. And breathing out, I smile, dwelling in the present moment. I know this is a wonderful moment. Breathing in calm, breathing out, smile. So from here, you're just going to gently hug your knees into your chest. Maybe have a little rock from side to side. And then we're going to make our way into our first of the yin poses. So if you bring your feet back down to the ground, we're coming into thread the needle pose. So you're going to take your right foot, if you can, place it just to the other side of your left knee. So the ankle comes just to the other side. I'm going to gently push my right knee away from me. And you'd like to feel an opening into the outside of your right hip here. So this would be stage one, and some people will be quite happy to stay here. You don't have to go any further. If you feel you'd like to go a little further, we're going to lift the left foot up off the ground, bring your hands around the back of the left thigh, and then as I draw my left thigh towards me, I'm still encouraging the right knee to push away from me. And one step a little further, just if that was where you might want to be today, could be to bring your hands around the front of your shin instead. And you'll note my head's still down on the ground, and if I can, I'm keeping the back of my neck nice and long. And I'm just going to set a timer here, so excuse me while I press onto my phone for the timer. So we're going to be 3 minutes in our first pose here. And I'll just talk us through a little bit what we're doing in our yin class. So especially some of you, maybe it's your first yin class. And it can be quite different to other more active styles of yoga. So you'll notice we're not moving very much at the moment. And the idea is we're going to hold this pose for the 3 minutes. So the first thing I'd like, or that we'll try, is we're finding our own edge. So you're finding where it's not too hard and not too easy. You might think of it as that Goldilocks position. It was that feeling of it being just right, not too soft, not too hard, just right in between. And it may be that you go a little further, so same as I did here, my hands around my shin. And I could do that for a little while, but for me this morning, that's too much. So I would choose a slightly gentler option. My hands around the back of my thigh. So then when you found your edge that's right for you for today, and then we're looking to relax. And we're relaxing into the target area. So it's really around the outside of your right hip. Anywhere around there is the most likely area in this pose. So just think of softening your hips. Maybe feel your hip bones move apart from each other. You can think of sending your breath right down into your hips, into your pelvis. So we've found our edge, we've softened, relaxed,
as much as possible. And then the last part for any yin pose is stillness. That doesn't mean to stay still if something is hurting. If you need to move, always, please do. But if you can, we're looking to find as much stillness as possible. Just take one more breath here. And we'll release both feet back down to the ground. And it could be nice just for a little movement to let the knees gently windshield wiper from side to side. And we'll come straight to our second side. So you're taking your left foot, placing it above, just to the other side of your right knee. And again, gently push your left knee away from you. So I can already feel something just round the top of my hip here, feel a sensation. But for me, it's not a very strong sensation, so I might choose to lift my right foot up off the ground, bring my hands around the back of the right thigh, and then drawing the right thigh towards you, but at the same time, trying to keep that left knee pushing away from you. Again, just going to set the time. So again, we'll have 3 minutes in our pose. And if you like, it can be nice to close your eyes. Take a moment or two to notice if it feels much different from one side to the other. So a lot of our yoga, some of our yoga practice, we notice what's going on in our bodies. It's helping us to be more body aware, more mind aware. And sometimes it can take a while, even just to notice where the sensation is. Sometimes it's obvious straight away, like it's right here, I can feel it. And sometimes it's more of a general sensation. So again, just letting your eyes close. Maybe feel your breath start to slow a little, if it would like to. And just bring your mind back once more to the idea of kindness to yourself. So what would it be like if we talked to ourselves as we would talk to a good friend? So maybe if things were tough or challenging, hopefully we wouldn't say to the good friend things like, "Oh, why did you do that? You're so stupid." But that might be the kind of thing you sometimes do say to yourself. So even, as I said, just for the rest of this class, we're going to try and say lovely things to ourselves. So we're going to come back out of that pose, bring your feet back down to the ground, and again we'll let the legs just gently windshield wiper from side to side. And you can come to roll all the way over onto one side. And just take a moment there, take a breath, and just tell yourself you're doing brilliant. Just however you are at the moment, you're doing really great. And we're going to come along up to seated. Going to stay with the hips. Just pause there for a moment and take a breath. So the next pose we're going to come to, it's a lovely dragon pose. So we're still going to be working with the hips. We're going to make our way over onto hands and knees. Right. Quick hair adjustment. So you're going to have your blocks or books handy if you'd like them. And then I'm just going to suggest some padding here for the knees. So we'll start in a tabletop position, and you're going to step the right foot up between your hands. And you might see my knee is going to start above my ankle. And then maybe, especially if you're on the blanket, it might slide nicely. I'm going to slide the back knee back just a little bit further. So again, remembering we're going to be here for a little while. So for myself, I find I'm reaching a bit too far to get to the ground, which is where these blocks are going to come in handy. So your blocks or books, again, anything that is steady enough for you to rest onto. So also, I'm going to set up timer here because we don't want to be here for too long, obviously. So in our dragon pose, for this particular one, I'm looking to get more of a sensation here along the front of my left hip flexor. And again, it can be quite an intense pose. So your edge might not look anything like this. You might want to be a lot higher up on your blocks. You might have your knees a lot closer together and you're feeling plenty of sensation there. You can even, because we're in a supported pose, it's okay to let your knee come forwards. Sorry, move that block out of the way. Your knee could come forwards from your ankle because we're going to be supporting ourselves with our hands onto the blocks or the ground. So again, finding your edge and then seeing if you might relax once more. So it's maybe quite obvious now that the yin yoga isn't restorative yoga. Occasionally they do get confused with each other, but this shouldn't feel particularly restorative at the moment. There is effort in this pose. If you're okay to, if your balance is fine, let your eyes close once more. See if you can just count your breath. We'll see if we might count to 5 as we inhale. And 5 as you exhale. There's just about 30 seconds left. in this first dragon. Sometimes you find you can go a little further, or if like me, you feel you need to back off a little, you might back off a little. And mindfully coming back out, we're going to put the blocks out of the way, step your right foot back, so you're onto hands and knees. And I'll give a couple of options here. So one is you might like just to stretch back into a child's pose. If that feels good, maybe have a little wriggle from side to side. Another option, which is often nice, is to come up into a down dog. And again, it could be nice to keep a little bend in the knees. Let your legs have a little movement. And when you're ready, we'll bring the knees back down to the ground and stepping your left foot forwards. So again, you might start with your knee above your ankle. You might find you can slide the right knee back a little. Again, I'll just set our timer so we don't overcook in this pose. So finding your edge on this side. As well, I said, where I happen to be feeling the sensation, this time it's in the front of my right hip flexor, a little bit on my right thigh. But other people, it could be more around your left hip, it could be more into your back. And your head, you can either keep the back of your head lifted, or you can let the chin fall down if your head's feeling heavy, if it would like to. Again, maybe let your eyes close. See if your focus, either stay with your breath. So again, counting your breath. Maybe count to 5 as you inhale. And 5 as you exhale. Or another place to bring the focus is to focus on where you're feeling the sensation at the moment. And again, maybe with your eyes closed, you can picture or visualize that sensation. Maybe you can feel the shape of it, the size of it, even the color of it. It's just over 30 seconds left. So this is our last dragon. Even notice where your mind goes when it hears that. And stay there with the breath or with the sensation, just for the last few moments. As we come out, try not to rush back out, even though your hips might be talking to you. We'll bring our hands down, step the left foot back, and again,
I'll offer, you could come into a down dog as we did, or as I did just before, or it might be nice to just sink back into a child's pose, either knees apart or knees together, and just let your head, it could be nice to rest it onto the block or the book. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Let me come back up. We're going to try a couple more, maybe slightly shorter poses, and then come to a lovely, lovely Shavasana. So, going to come to, move any props out the way for a moment. Come to lie down on your back once more. And what I'd like to try here is hopefully just a nice, gentle twist. So with a bend in your knees, soles of your feet on the ground. I'm just going to let my hips lift a small bit so I can shift them an inch to the right. And then I'm keeping my feet apart. Let both your knees fall to the left. And your arms, if there's room, they can stretch out in a T shape. If not, they could be in more of a cactus shape. So ideally your shoulders can rest down on the ground. And then if it's okay on your neck, you're going to turn your head in the opposite direction to your knees. See if you can let your legs become heavy here. Notice if there's any gripping with your inner thighs. And let them soften. And letting your belly soften. Letting your glutes, your buttocks be soft. And again, you might just notice how your belly rises and falls with each breath. And we're going to bring the knees back to center. Let the pelvis move back to center and the head. And then we'll shift the hips an inch to the left and let your knees both fall to the right. Again, if it's okay on your neck, you turn your head to look in the opposite direction to your knees. Again, it could be nice to close your eyes. And see if you can notice your belly again, rising and falling with each breath. You're inviting a softness there. Again, your thighs are soft. Notice it. If you can just relax the buttocks, let them unclench if they were. Sometimes it's nice to inhale in through the nose and exhale
with a little sigh. Maybe one or two more like that. Let it all soften as you exhale. One more, inhaling. And exhale. You can slowly bring the knees back to center again. Let your hips center and give your knees just a gentle little hug. Give yourself a little thank you there. We're not quite finished yet, but thanking yourself anyway. Just for being here, for being you. Thanking your hips, thanking your body. We'll make our way now into Shavasana, our final pose. So I'm going to recommend the blanket for coziness. So it gives you, sometimes it's that feeling of having something to tuck you in. It gives you that added bit of comfort. And then come to lie all the way back down on your back. And your arms, they can either be out by your sides, palms facing up, or they could rest onto your belly, if you prefer. I'm going to join you in Shavasana, but we'll have a guided Shavasana. So I'm going to talk us through parts of the body. And each part I mention, it's just to let your focus come there. We're going to start on the right hand side. Your right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, the palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, armpit, shoulder, and side of the waist, your hip, thigh, knee, calf, ankle, the top of the foot, the sole of the foot, the right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. And to the left hand side, your left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, and fifth finger. Palm of the hand, the back of the hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, armpit, shoulder, the side of the waist, hip, thigh, knee, calf, ankle, the top of the foot, the sole of the foot, your left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Now going to the back of the body, your right heel, left heel, right calf, left calf, right thigh, left thigh, right buttock, left buttock, your lower back, middle back, your upper back, your shoulder blades, the back of your neck, back of your head, top of your head, forehead, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, the space between your eyebrows, your right eye, left eye, right cheek, left cheek, right ear, left ear, your top lip, your lower lip, both lips together, your jaw, your throat, neck, your right collarbone, left collarbone, right side of the ribs, left side of the ribs, your upper abdomen, navel, lower abdomen, your right groin, left groin, and the pelvic floor, your whole right leg, your whole left leg, your whole right arm, your whole left arm, your whole torso, your whole face, your whole head, your whole body, your whole body, your whole body. Just going to bring a little movement back to our fingers and toes then. Let them move a little. Your head could turn from side to side. It might feel nice to stretch your arms up past your head, reaching up through your fingertips, down through your toes. Pushing out through your heels, have a little sigh or yawn if you like to. And then hug your knees, or take a bend in your knees once more. And we'll roll over to one side. You might have your lower arm as a pillow. might be nice just to let or remind yourself that you do enough. You have enough, and you are enough. In your own time, push yourself gently back up to seated. Coming to sit however is comfortable for you, and we're going to bring our hands together at our heart. Maybe drop your chin slightly. And it's just to thank each other. So whoever is out there, thanking them for being here, for practicing with us. Namaste.